Yo, what's good guys, Johto Draft. Hopefully everyone's doing well, and if new here, welcome to my channel. And today, as you see by the title and thumbnail, we have a PSA return number 8, I believe. So I just picked this up at FedEx. The thing that's kind of annoying with this FedEx package, or just FedEx in general, is that I believe that when PSA ships their, just any package really from PSA, I think they give it like a 3-day window, and FedEx usually holds it up until like the street date, which is like, 3 days, but then usually I just go there and just pick it up myself because today is Friday and the next day to pick it up will be the Monday, so I'd rather have it sooner than later. But anyways, we have the package here, so without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so this was a 40 card submission, so I'm assuming in both boxes there should be 20. And they kind of actually changed the design. Usually it would be like vertical, but now it's horizontal. So let's first take everything out. Alright, so with the playmat cleaned up a bit, let's actually get right into it. And as I mentioned, those boxes are a perfect fit for 20 cards. So if you guys are submitting, I would recommend 20 card batches, because it would just be an even number for them to kind of store these slabs in. But anyways, let's get right into it. And as always, let's just start with one pile, and below it will have the respective pile. So like 10, 9, 8. I think anything below a 7 I'll keep in another pile as well. So starting off with the first ones, I have not looked at the grades at all for this, so I'm hoping for overall good grades because these are, fairly modern, and then just straight out of the pack into the, straight out of like a tin pack and then into a sleeve and graded. So starting off with the Mewtwo and Mew GX, this is probably one of like my favorite Sun and Moon alt arts, in my opinion. Just the dichotomy with their emotions, like Mew being very playful and Mewtwo being very serious, but I'm hoping for 10s on all of these like partnership tag team tins. But starting off, we got a 10, so can't really expect anything less because I guess as I mentioned, just straight out of the tin into the pack, or into the sleeve rather, so we'll make a 10 pile right here. And getting to the next one, and clearly you can tell that they don't really put things back in order, which is kind of sad, but then it is what it is. And this one we have a Scarlet Violet pre-order bonus card, and this should get a 10. I'll be very surprised if it doesn't, so yeah, that's a very nice 10 to add to the 10 pile. Next up, we have the Mew V alternate art. I believe I picked this one up in Japan back in 2023. And this one got a 10 as well. So yeah, Japanese card stock, can't really go wrong with it. I feel like the quality on Japanese cards is just way above English. And moving on, we have Blues Tactics. I know that blue and green, the name usually get mixed up because in the States we got red and blue. So Gary, I guess this character, is usually referred to as blue, but I know that in Japan, because red and green came out, he's considered green in Japan, and then the female character is known as blue. So it's kind of confusing. But anyways, we have Blues Tactics right here from Miracle Twins. And we got a 10, so yeah. All Japanese cards, I'm expecting nothing less than like a 9. So let's get into the next one, and this card, I love this card so much. I'm kind of torn with how I feel because I know that we got those like exclusive GameStop boxes, like the Reshizard, the Zekrom Pikachu as like a promo. I personally would not have liked this in a promo, or maybe, but then this is a Japanese exclusive from Tag Team All-Stars. And this one I picked up along with this one here from Japan. I believe it was like the same shop as well. So hopefully we can get a 10. And what do you know, it is a 10. As I mentioned, Japanese card stock is just too good. Another Japanese card, and this one is Professor Elm's Lecture. I believe this one was gifted to me by Dizzle. I actually have English and a Japanese, so both were gifted to me by Dizzle. Huge shout out to you, man. Hopefully, fingers crossed this gets a 10. Okay, alright, so we got a 9. I feel like probably the front centering might have done it a little bit, and there maybe there's like, oh yeah, there's like a small little nick on the bottom right corner, so can't complain, but still it is a full art, probably one of my favorite like male trainer full arts that we have. So yeah, we have Professor Elm's Lecture right there, and this one we have Sabrina's Suggestion. I believe this was a crack from a CGC blue label. That was like a 9.5, and hoping probably get a 10, and yes it does. So yeah, Sabrina's Suggestion from Tag Bolt. Very, very nice. Add that to the pile. Alright, and we're chugging along. And next up we have this Roller Skater. So this was bought from, I believe I bought like a ton of remix battle packs from like a local card store. And they were just loose. It was like, half a box remaining. Decided to buy all of it. And we pulled the Roller Skater. Unfortunately, this trainer isn't really as popular, so it isn't as expensive. But then if it gets a 9, I'm basically losing money. But then hopefully, fingers crossed, it gets a 10. Yep, Gemmin 10, there we go. I believe I pulled this like in the car, like right after I bought it when the car opened it with my girlfriend. Then pulled it and put in the card saver, paint sleeve and everything, and then it was good to go. And we have another Japanese card, the final, I guess, full art trainer, I guess, on the Japanese side. We have a Whitney, my PTSD growing up, her Miltank, which is stupid strong. I feel like everyone that played Gen 2 games can understand my sentiment. But we have, I'm hoping for a 10 because it was pulled right from a pack. And there we go. So I believe it was the same store that I bought this, I guess the packs from here. They had like half a box remaining of Super Burst and just decided to buy it all. And luckily I pulled the Whitney. So very, very happy with that. Moving on, we're moving on to the English side, so I feel like we might see some lower grades here and there, but then this one was from that collection box, tag team box. It came with the Venusaur promo as well, and I'm hoping for a 10 on all of these tins. Sorry, not tins, cards, but then yeah, very happy with the Gemmin 10 grade for that on the English side. And we're gonna have quite a few of these. We have a Reshizar promo, as I mentioned, from the GameStop, I guess, exclusive boxes. And nice, it got a 10. I was hoping that was going to get a 10 because I feel like if you get a 9 on any of these English Modern cards, you're basically just like breaking even or even losing money. This Ray V Altar, so I got it from a kid who wants to sell me his cards at like a local mall show. And this one, unlike the previous Ray that I submitted, this one seems a lot cleaner. Centering's a lot better too, so hoping, fingers crossed, for a 10. And we get the 10. Very, very nice. I kind of low-key want to put this in the PC, but I think I'd rather choose a Japanese one over the English, so this will definitely be for sale. And moving on, we have a Ho-Oh from Shining Legends, like the little promo that you got. And I believe I submitted 2 of these. I know that one of them, this might be the one where the centering is kind of off from right to left, so I'll probably get a 9. But if it gets a 10, then I'm going to assume the other one got a 10 as well. And it got a 10. Alright, so I think the biggest thing I was worried about was the centering, but then I guess if this one got a 10, then I'm sure the other one, hopefully it's the next one. Yes, it is, and yeah, hopefully this one gets a 10 as well. Yeah, so very happy with this. I love this promo card. It is very, I guess, comparable in texture, but I think the Japanese one is just so much better. I feel like there's distinctions between like the layers of the wings and everything. So yeah, great card, super underrated in my opinion, but then love Ho-Oh more than Lugia. I know that might be a controversial take, but I think Ho-Oh kind of like fits the lore of like Johto better than Lugia. But anyways, we're moving on to a Garchomp and Giratina GX. Just this art is just so sick. And I wish I had more of these. I wish I bought more when I had the chance, but then just, you know, hindsight's 2020. But this one should be a 10. And it is, yeah. So all these partnership tins, all these like GX tag team tins, I'll be very surprised if it goes anything below a 9. So we have the Venusaur Snivy, which was from the same box as the Charizard Breaks In. And I have 2 of these. And these both should get a 10. So very good to see that. And maybe this one, yep, this is the same one. And it got a 10 as well, so you'd love to see it. We have the pair of 10s right there, and Yukimori just did such a good job with this. I'm sure there's videos out there floating around of like her process of, you know, how she makes these like claymation figures. And she also has that Pokemon Concierge, I guess, show on Netflix where she basically made all the models. And yeah, we have the second Mewtwo and Mew GX, and as I mentioned, nothing short of a 10. There we go, yep, so this card, when I put in my cases at shows, it just flies off, it just goes so fast, so I might put a slight premium to this because I just love this artwork, just everything about it is just so good, and Sui doing work on this card, so yeah, very happy with this grade, and we're almost done with the first pile, and we have this Mew Gold Full Art 25th Anniversary card that I pulled from a previous video. Please go check it out after this one. But this one, I see a little bit off centering from like left to right, so hopefully it's still within the parameters to get a 10. So yeah, you love to see it. Love to see all of these get a 10. If any of the Japanese modern cards got a 9, I think I'm just heavily, or maybe I'm exaggerating, but then I'll definitely be like slightly in the red. And we have Red's Challenge right here with the Bulbasaur. I think Bulbasaur is probably like one of the best starters in my opinion. But we have Red right there from Tag Team All-Stars. And this one was a crack from a 9.5 blue label. And it should, there you go, you love to see it. It did get a Gemmin 10. So alright, so outside of this lone Professor Elm right here, we have a full stack of 10s, 19 10s. So let's get into the second half right here. Starting up with the English card, and we have the Lucario Melmetal tag team. And this should get a 10. Alright, you love to see it. You love to see the 10s from these modern cards. Alright, moving on, we have the Eevee Snorlax as well from the partnership tins, and it got another 10. This artwork is so good by Kumiya. I just love all these artworks for like these tag teams and stuff. I feel like they're definitely becoming more popular, but then yeah, I feel like the price that you pay for them is just super cheap in my opinion. But yeah, definitely want to stock up on a little bit more if I can. Next up, I believe I have 2 of these, and we have a Venusaur Celebi. This Celebi looks like it's like descended from heaven, and Venusaur is like the recipient of the Celebi. But then it got a 10, alright, and I should have another one. There we go, and this one as well has gotten a 10. So we are doing really good with the submission here. So let's see what else we got. We have the Shining Ho-Oh. I believe I submitted only one of these on the English side. And could it get a 10? Can it get a 10? Okay, so it got a 9. Pretty sure there's like maybe some whitening on the corners here. And maybe a few scratches that I probably missed. But still, it is a 9. It's nothing lower than a 9. So can't complain about that. Alright, so this one. Okay, so this Empoleon. I believe I picked this up from Jackson. I think we met at CSA and you sold me a few of your cards. And I decided to grade this because I felt like, you know, one, it's like an ultra rare, secret rare. But then it's also like a lower part of the hobby, like black and white. Also, I appreciate you watching the videos. I think you mentioned that you watched my Orlando vlog and you were familiar with some of the people that I've ended with. So yeah, huge shout out to you, man. Thank you for selling me your cards. And this one, I'll be happy with a 7, honestly. So 7 and above, I'll be happy with. We got an 8. Okay. 8 is very good for this card, so I cannot complain. I did have a Plasma Storm. I believe it was Plasma Storm, but I had the Blastoise as well, like the secret rare. And yeah, we have a Empoleon as well. So very, very nice card to get an 8 with. Next up, we have this Lily. I'm pretty sure, one, we see the centering off from right to left immediately. But this is one that I pulled a long time ago, like my very first few videos on my channel. Don't go watch it, it's super cringe. But then I opened a Sun and Moon box and I believe I pulled this. And I'm probably going to assume it got like an 8. It's definitely not the best condition, but let's just see. And yeah, so expected, I got an 8. And I feel like I'm kind of getting a little bit better at like pre-grading cards or like knowing what to expect, because my first submission, or maybe not my first submission, but like the vintage WotC submission that I did, I got wrecked. So that was a big humbling experience, a learning experience, but then you live and learn, and I think I'm getting a little bit better at like pre-grading or like knowing what cards to grade. But yeah, so moving on, we have a Skyla, and I feel like these XY eras, even Sun Moon eras, like the texture on these cards, it's just really hard to grade. So I'm gonna assume an 8 for this one as well. Okay, yeah, so I was like, hopefully, maybe we can get a 9, but I'm definitely happy with an 8. So yeah, Skyla full art from Breakpoint. Yep, Breakpoint, you'll love to see it. So I think all the English full arts are probably going to be in the 8 pile right here, or anything with like the texture. So Professor Elm's lecture, there is like a slight like hollow shift, or maybe like a shift in like the ink for like the Professor Elm right here. You guys can see that. But this one, I feel like this is probably a cleaner copy. I'm going to say a 9. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it like hit an 8. So, okay, it got a 10? Okay, so I legit thought this probably was going to get a 9 just because, I don't know, maybe some like scratches here and there that I saw, but then Genmin 10, I'm actually very surprised that an English full art got a 10 over the Japanese. So I feel like that one little nick in the corner probably did it for the grade, but then that is something you definitely don't see every day. But then maybe I'll keep these in the PC just because I love this card. I love how it has like the Gen 2 starters in it as well, even though it's like a full art trainer. So you'll love to see it. We got a Professor Elm's lecture in a 10. So yeah, I'm just very happy with that grade. So moving on, we have a Shining Mew from Shining Legends. I believe this is like my personal copy that I pulled way back in the day when I opened this for the first time, and just kept it in my collection and finally decided to grade it like years after. And judging off the centering, maybe it'll get a 9, but then I wouldn't be surprised if it got a 10 like this Professor Elm. And it gets a 10. Alright, something that my girlfriend mentioned was like when she initially got into the hobby and like when she saw my collection, she really appreciated how like even like regular hollows and everything that I pulled, I would put in penny sleeves. And then I definitely took really good care of my cards, whether it's back then, even till now. So I'm seeing the fruits of my labor kind of like, you know, coming to fruition, I guess. So yeah. We got a Gem Mint 10. So when I value these, like when I put in the submission, I always kind of assume like a PSA 9 grade, but then anything above a 9, obviously, you know, that's just money on top. So I'm very happy with that. So this one, we have a Meiji Chocolate Mew promo, as you see by the little Meiji logo down in the left bottom. This was cracked out from a BGS 9. So, I mean, obviously they put it in the sleeve, but then when I saw the condition of the card after taking it out, it's probably like a 7-8 candidate. There's like, you know, decent amount of whitening on the back and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it got an 8. Yep, or a 7, so yeah. The condition is definitely not the best. I feel like anything below like a 9 in BGS, like you don't even know what grade it is really, so I think 9, 5 and above, you know, those grades make sense, but then 9 and below, it's kind of like, basically like a shot in the dark. So yeah, our first 7 to go in a 7 pile. And what else we got? So we have this Mew right here. I love this card so much. I love the hollow pattern. I love the artwork of it. I love the contrast between like the dark green and like the pink on the Mew. It just stands out so well. I can't remember where I got this from, but it might have been a crack out from like a CGC slab, but then I'm gonna assume an 8. I think an 8 is a fair grade. And it got a 9. Let's go. Alright, so this is going straight into PC because I collect a ton of Mew cards, and then this in the 9. That is just perfect. Alright, so I would definitely take that. So that is going straight into the PC. Very happy with that grade. I was expecting like a 7 or an 8, but then, yeah, 9 is definitely the way to go for, I guess, value collecting. Next, we have the Charizard promo. I love like the clone design back from like the first movie and everything. But we had the Charizard from like the movie tin. Or I guess it was more of like a collector chest, but then we have this one and the Armor Mewtwo, which you'll see later. And let's see, so this one did come in like the typical packaging where like they kind of like put it in like the little divots right here, but then this was pretty clean. So 9, 10 will be okay, so 9, yeah, 10 will be kind of crazy, but then can't complain with the 9. I think there's like a little swirl hiding behind Charizard's body, which is a little bit unfortunate, but still very clean hollow regardless. I think it was probably like the little whitening nicks on the side, but yeah, Charizard right there in a 9. And next up, we have the Armor Mewtwo Full Art. This one was basically in like the same packaging as this Charizard right here, so probably get a 9 as well. Yep, so we got a 9. I know that the 10 for both of these go for like, you know, decent amounts, so yeah. 9, I guess I'll just probably get my money back for like the card and grading, but then, yeah. That is a very nice card as well. Obviously, the yellow border stands out a lot more than the Japanese counterpart, but then still, I think the card itself, like the Mewtwo, Armor Mewtwo is just really cool. Okay, so this one, Mega Ray EX. Cole, if you're watching this, shout out to you, man. I'm hoping that this gets, I don't know, realistically, this probably is going to get like a 7 to 8 because there is a decent amount of whitening, but then if it gets a 9, that'll be crazy. But then I'm going to assume an 8 and a 7. Yeah, so like the whitening on the bottom, oh man. I should have vetted this a little bit more. Cole, it's not your fault, man. I mean, I think it's just on me. But then I think my spot in the mall, there was like really poor lighting, so I couldn't really get a good look at it. But then you'll live and learn. Maybe we'll just crack this out and sell raw. But then, yeah, so that is a little unfortunate. I think the texture and like the art of everything, though, is just super sick. It's just the grade kind of puts it down a decent chunk. So, yeah, that is just sad to see. Next up, we have this Giovanni's Gyarados. This was a pretty clean copy that I submitted. So, hoping for a 9. 10 will be great, too. And we got a 9, so yeah, definitely a 9. I think a 10 would have been a little bit too ambitious, but then yeah, can't complain with that because I feel like anything below a 9 for like these like vintage hollows, you're just basically like in the red. So yeah, 9 is just breaking even. Next we have this Uyama's Pikachu. This was a recrack. It did get an 8 previously, but then I want to see if I could like test my luck, but I think it'll probably still get an 8 because there's like some whitening at the top. So yeah, okay, so we got a near mint to 8, or near mint to mint to 8, and I love this, just the artwork in general of this Pikachu card. It's just so good. But yeah, going into the 8 pile, and I believe the remaining cards are all like Mew, Southern Islands Mew, so we have 2 of these, and this one is a little off-centered. Pretty clean though, in my opinion, but I know that these are notoriously known to get like 8s, so wouldn't be surprised with that. Yep, so we got an 8 near mint to mint 8 for this Southern Islands Mew. And we should have another one. And yep, so this one, the centering, it's a little bit better, like marginally better, but can this one get a 9? Okay, so they're both near mint to mint 8. Both of these were taken straight out of like the 3-card pack and then put into the card saver, and you know, it wasn't even touched. But then I think just the way it is, just out of the factory, like being off center and everything, it's just unfortunate. But our last card right here, it is a Mew McDonald's promo. I picked this up at a local card store, the one different from the one that I bought the booster packs from. And I saw this, it was a very clean copy. I was actually very surprised because these are notoriously known to be like, you know, beaten up because, you know, these are McDonald's promos. Kids use them, kids play with them, but then this one seemed very clean. So if it's a 9, straight into the PC, anything otherwise, I will definitely be willing to sell. So the final card, and again, the green and like the pink, it contrasts so well with each other. So yeah, enough of my rant. Let's see what the final grade is. Oh no, okay, so a near mint to mint 8. I was really hoping for a 9, but then I guess you can't complain. At least it's not a 7 or something, but yeah, so overall, a really good submission. I mean, the bulk of our cards hit a 10, so very happy with that. And as always, what I like to do is a little bit of art appreciation. So because we had a decent amount of Muse, psychic Pokemon here, I figured that we'll go into this clear file, which kind of features a ton, if not all, of the psychic Pokemon. So starting from the bottom, we have Natu, Victini, Chingling, the Lake Trio, Gothita, Gotharita, Gothitelle, Mime Jr., Wynot, Abra, the whole line, Woobat, Celebi, Wobbuffet, Xatu, Gallade, Chimecho, Mewtwo, Lugia, all the unknowns around it. Did I miss anything? Swoobat? I believe that's the name, Swoobat. And on the back, we do have the Mew right there. Front and center, we have Solosis? Duosis? I am Black and White, XY era, I am blanking, but then I know we have like Elgin, Mana, we have Ralt, Spoink, Espeon, Grumpig, Drowsy, Sigalith, Gardevoir, the 4 Deoxys forms, Hypno, Mr. Mime, and again, all of the unknowns here. So yeah, figured that this little clear file will be kind of fitting because we did see quite a few Mew cards and a lot of like, I guess, Mew Psychic type, but anyways, that is it for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I think the bulk of my content that I'll be pushing out right now is going to be like PSA submissions and returns and like vendor POV videos. But if you guys have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll definitely take a look and just, see what you guys had to say. But yeah, thank you guys again. Thank you guys so much for your support. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.